Hey, it's Soleil, and this is episode 53 of the Red Pilled Orange Pill Investor. The market is open, so let's just roll in real time. We've got one Tesla 150 Leaps, expires January 17th, 2025. That enables us to sell a covered call against it. Paid 61, it's worth 65, so it's appreciated a little bit, so that's good news. But let's go ahead and find our covered call that's going to expire today, 207.50 strike. So I will buy this back for just a few scraps. Nobody look. All right, and so it does cost you a couple of bucks to buy these back, and so selling covered calls isn't completely friction free. So when you sell, I sold this last week for 284. I try to get 1% at least of the stock's price. Got a little bit more than that this time. And you will have to buy it back for something. If you get lucky, you'll actually have to buy it back for a lot, because that means the price of your stock went up. But let's take a look at the options for next week. Probably will be fairly similar. I'm going to go up and try to get at least 1% premium. So I can go anywhere between the 202.50 or the 205. Tesla is a little bit down. So if I go to 202.50, that's going to give me $7.50 of callaway value. Callaway value is the difference between the current price and the strike price. So that would be about $7.50. So what is that? 3.5% potential return in callaway value if I go with the 202.50. It's going to be $10, which would be about 5% callaway value here. With Tesla actually being down, 1% of this is going to be $1.96. So 205 works out perfectly. So let's sell that one. And just as a rough guess, anything under, if you've got your leap set up correctly, anything under 0.3 delta should be reasonable. Meaning that the only way for this covered call to start losing value precipitously is when it goes over the strike price. But if the price were to go like unlimited loss, the price were to go way up here to like 250 or something ridiculous, it will probably be okay, because even if I don't have the money to buy this back, I can just sell the leaps. And if you have a nice delta here, you can probably get even lower as you go up. But as long as you're, in general, if you have your leap set up correctly, staying under the 0.3 is reasonably safe. So I'm going to go with the 205. That's filled, so just got paid $200. If I had more buying power, I would use that $200 to either buy a share of Tesla or maybe some HUT, which is a pretty cheap mining stock right now. I think HUT is like, let's just not guess, it's probably $8 a share, around there. So you need $800 to get 100 shares of this, and once you get 100 shares of this, then you can sell a covered call against this, and you could collect another 3-4% with 1% call away value would be about $7. So yeah, I mean, you can get like 10% call away value here and 3 to 4% premium. So that would be my strategy if I had a little bit more buying power. But I'm just going to actually I'm going to save Mara for later. I roll Mara every week with my son, and that's a nice little activity we do together. All right, so sold this covered call in MicroStrategy last week for $2,700. Gonna have to buy it back for $30-ish. There we go. So let's check what we can get. So 10% call away value would be $68. Half of that's going to be $34. So if I go up, let's see, 685, go up $5 to 690, another 30, around 720. Going to be a little bit grittier with this one. So the delta doesn't really matter as much when you own the shares, because you get $1 every time the price goes up. So you can really pick any delta in here, but a lot of people will still try to, some of the people that I follow will still try to grab something around a 0.3 delta. But I'm going to be a little greedier with this one just because, well, it's only $200 extra. So this would be 5% call value and about almost 3% premium. If I go here, it'd be more like 2.5%. So I'm going to go with the 720. Okay, that filled. I save Mara for later. So that gave me a little bit more cushion on the buying power. So still pretty thin. I don't like my buying power being this low on a margin account, but it's fine. Robin, it's funny. Attention required, your portfolio. What's a margin call? I usually just click this just to get, usually if you click that, you can get rid of the exclamation point, but maybe not. There we go. And this is the reason, this is something that I came up with, and it's the reason why I do this. So if you sell 100 shares, so you have 100 shares, you sell covered call against it and get 1%, you're going to be able to buy a share. And let's say you never put another dime of your own money into this account, and assuming that the price never even goes up, it just stays horizontal forever. You can buy a share this week, and you do it again next week. You'll have 2 shares, you do it again, you do it again, you do it again. You'll have a share, 1 share every week. It's going to take you 100 weeks to get an additional 100 shares. However, that's when it starts getting interesting, because now you can sell 2 covered calls, and you'll get 2 shares the next week. And then the next week you sell 2 more covered calls, and you got 4 shares. And you got 6, then you got 8, then you got 10. It's going to take you 50 weeks to get your next 100. It's going to take you 34 weeks to get your next 100. It'll take you 25 weeks to get your next 100, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Pretty soon, you know, it only takes 4 weeks to get another 100. And then for a couple of months, it's only going to take you 3 weeks to get another 100. And then for like quite a while, it's going to take, you're going to be buying 100 shares every 2 weeks with just the money that you've put into the account one time. This is not it's not adding additional money. This is just collecting 1% premium every week off of every single covered call that you own. And then eventually, once you are able to purchase, you know, you have so many shares now, which would be approximately 10,000. Once you have 10,000 shares and you're getting 1%, 10,000 times 1% is 100. So you're able to buy 100 shares a week. You only put enough money into the account to buy 100 shares to begin with, but now you're buying 100 shares a week with getting 1% premium on 10,000 shares. Now, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you add up all of the weeks, that's 573 weeks, 11 years of selling covered calls every week. But then at that point, you're getting 1%. You're not just getting 1%, which is still insane because 1% a week is 52% return every year. So good luck getting that in the SPY. And this is also assuming that the price of the stock never even goes up. So this is assuming no appreciation in the value of the stock, just getting 1% premium on covered calls. So it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, and you are capping your upside. So if the price of this went from $10 a share 1 week to 20 because of some amazing announcement, you're not capturing that. But the point of the strategy isn't to capture all of that upside. The point is to keep stacking shares. Bitcoiners like to say stack sats, and I don't know, maybe I should coin my own phrase, stacking shares. But of course, you could accelerate this by continuing to put money from your own account. But that's why I mentioned that you do have to buy these covered calls back with a little bit of money, even when there's not a lot of value left in it. So that's why I say they have a little bit of friction. So you have to sell these for a little bit more than 1%, assuming you are going to have to buy them back for a couple of bucks. So you might want to, that may factor into your choices. And I'm not a financial advisor, so it's not financial advice, of course. But this is what I do, and this is why I do it. And you could see even in MicroStrategy, I was able to get 3%. 3% premium. So really, I would be able to afford 3 shares of that stock, or really, what did I get? A couple grand for that? Let's see. 720 call, got paid, yeah, 2 grand. So really, if I went to HUT, I could buy 250-ish shares, and then immediately sell 2 more covered calls, maybe at the 850, and collect another $60. So that's when it really ramps up, is when you're selling premium and then you're able to buy at least 100 shares of something and then sell another covered call. So as I was saying, when you don't have enough to buy 100 shares of something, then you can only just buy regular shares, but you're still getting 1% a week, which is 52% for the year. But once you start getting 1% on top of 1%, now it's, the calculation isn't just the calculation isn't just 1 plus 1 plus 1 for 52 weeks. It's 1.01 x to the y 52 times. So you're taking 1.01 times itself 52 times for a year. You're not getting 52% for the year, you're getting 67% for the year. It's a little better. And like I said, this is all hypothetical because you may not be able to get 1%. You may have to, if the price of the stock does go up, you're going to be getting some call-away value, and you may have to sacrifice some of that in order to close your covered call for the next week. And if you don't add any additional money to your account, you might have accumulated 11 shares, and then you're like, oh crap, I might have to sell 5 shares to be able to afford to roll that call to the next week, and that drops you back down to 6 shares or something. It's still fine. The overall value of your account went up to the new stock price. The only reason that you would have to do that would be if you got lucky and the price of your stock actually did gain some value. So it is possible to gain value from selling premium and get the call-away value. I always want my stocks to go to the moon. I don't really care if they go over my strike. Some people will say, oh, the perfect thing is if the price of the stock goes right up to your strike price and stops. But that's certainly not the case when you build these poor man covered calls with elites. But even with the price of my stock, I just want it to go as high as possible. If I have to turn around and buy it back and pay some, that's fine, because now the stock is worth more, and getting 1% premium, if the price of your stock goes from 100 to 200, 1% premium, you were getting $1 before, and now if the price is $200 a share, you're getting $2. So I would rather have to pay to roll it over and then continue to collect $2 a week instead of $1 a week. That just makes sense to me. So thought it would be, maybe I'll try to remember to do this in real time more on Fridays, but this is what I do, this is how I do it, and this spreadsheet is why I do it. All right, y'all be good.